Hi, this is Eve Sheldon, and welcome to the Power of Tarot, my YouTube channel. So today we're going to take a look at kind of an interesting topic. We're going to look at the California drought and do a card spread about that. And it'll be interesting to see what comes up and what Spirit would like to have us know about the drought here. It's been going on for a few years, and it's a topic of discussion that's pretty heavily on our minds out here on the West Coast. So we're going to do a shining star spread, which is one of my favorite spreads. And that way we can look at the different aspects of this drought situation. And I'm trying to think of how we can phrase our question as to be a little bit more specific. So we can maybe look at, we'll look at outcome. We'll say, will we be out of this drought this year? So in other words, could we have a really nice wet spring, which is what people are really looking for here. And the Shining Star spread will show us the emotional, the spiritual, the mental, and the physical aspects of the situation, and we will see an outcome as well. So it's kind of a cool one to have. So I'm going to put the cards out. And see if we can get some guidance from Spirit about the drought on the West Coast, especially in California. And are we going to have a wet spring? So at the top and bottom, we're going to have, this is the physical position. So at the top, we have the Knight of Coins. Interestingly enough, we have two court cards, and the court cards refer to also what we call the people cards. So there's knights in this deck, there's kings and queens. And so it's all the different energies involved as far as people and guides who are involved with the situation. So Knight of Swords is at the bottom. He's holding up the entire project here as far as supporting it. So the Knight of Swords is kind of a rampant mental energy. The swords refer to the mind or the intellect. As you can see, the Knight does not have a bridle on his horse, and I'll hold the card up so you can see it here. So specifically, it's not meant to be a bridled energy. It's meant to be an energy which just goes as it would, back and forth, out and around. And he uses his sword while he's on the horse. And that sword can be a little bit reckless. So our Knight of Swords uses his mind and intellect. And so to me, that would symbolize a little bit of logic gone bad or logic gone wild. He's not a real steady character. Knight of Coins is at the top. So the Knight of Coins shows he is a younger energy as well, being a knight. Coins represent the earth, work, money, those sorts of daily concerns. And he's sitting on his horse. As you can see, his horse isn't very active. So Knight of Coins is a very stable energy. They equate him to molten lava. Very, very steady, slow to move, but once into motion, you cannot stop the Knight of Coins. So it's interesting. So we're talking physically about the forces of nature here. Believe that I would look at this and say that this Knight of Swords energy shows that nature is not happy with our recklessness using our logical mind. But also Knight of Coins on top balances it out and sort of saying that nature's going to slow us down a little bit. So that's what's going on in physicality about the drought. The next position here is the emotional position. So what's going on emotionally? We have the Four of Coins here at the bottom. Four of Coins shows boundaries, and it's about power specifically. And there's this woman here, and she's got the coins in the four directions. Now, it talks about power in physicality and how that power is used and boundaries. It can discuss sort of like how allowing things in, what you allow in, and what you don't allow in. So setting a boundary of what you would like in your experience and that you have the option to do so. So emotionally for us, it's like, it would be interesting like saying maybe nature wants to sort of not have us experience certain things emotionally or not, you know. It's a little bit unclear in the position as far as emotions for us people, but nature is saying, I've kind of had enough and I'm setting some boundaries here, and things need to change. Nine of Swords energy is here at the top of the emotional position. Nine of Swords is self-cruelty. This is a card of the perfectionist, doubting, looking back at the past, where have we made mistakes, but it's excessive. So it's not a positive kind of looking back at mistakes. So, but literally beating yourself up emotionally. This would pertain to the human race, how some people feel like climate change and things like these are going on, how we've messed up on the earth, and we're sort of self-flagellating like the monks used to do in Europe. So that's not a good thing. So we have issues regarding this drought as far as boundaries and power, and also us overdoing it and blaming ourselves. So it's interesting that nature would be expressing that, because we asked specifically to channel Mother Nature in this reading about the California drought. On these two positions, we've got mental and intellectual, what's going on. We have the death and rebirth card on one side. So remember that with death, there's always rebirth. So death means doors closing, but new doors will always open. That's the rebirth part of the death card. So things changing, irrevocably so, because death and rebirth is very final about on the earth. Two of Cups, the marriage card, is on the other side. So the marriage card talks about birth of a new union specifically. It can be a traditional marriage between two humans, but it can be marriage between two beings. I would look at this to be a marriage between nature and man. So we have some doors closing with that death card, but mentally and intellectually we can begin a new union, a new way of being with the earth and our planet. So that's pretty cool to have there. Super ending of an old phase, beginning of a new. In our emotional or our spiritual position, we have the Temperance card at the bottom. Temperance card is the karma card. It's the card of alchemy. It's also a card that this is meant to be on our path for both the earth and the humans on it. Also, that card really counsels patience. It's a slow process. At the top is Seven of Cups, spiritually. That's a card of excessive behavior. It can be the card of the need to overcome addiction, physically or emotionally. So this is a pattern-breaking card. So through our excesses, this drought, and the excessive nature of a drought, our patterns are going to be broken. So that's a really good card. So Spirit is saying patience, and this drought is all about pattern breaking for us. And sometimes pattern breaking is painful. Our outcome card in the middle, we are featuring the Tower here. And the Tower is about changes, things coming down, cataclysm. But things happen very quickly, and it is all for the good, because right next door is the Ten of Coins, which is success in the material physical world. So through everything changing quickly and us having all these difficulties, we will have success. But it is crossed by the Strife card. So that success will not come without some strife. That's doing battle, going head to head and toe to toe. So interesting outcome. Eventual success, but we have more cataclysm to come. So the way I would interpret this spread, you know, there are a lot of different things that we're working on. Nature is really getting to us with this drought. But closing old doors, opening new ones, power and boundaries, a lot of different things going on. But this final outcome, it doesn't show that we are going to have a wet spring here in California. It's actually showing that we will not, and it's going to continue on. And we have more that we need to learn from it. So it will be interesting to see how all that plays out here in California and in the West Coast and in general with climate change. So we are going to break the cards, and that's the end of our discussion on the drought. Thank you for joining us here on the Power of Tarot today.